And you don't want to forget the Shadiversity plushie available at Makeship. They're a limited time. Link in the description. Welcome back to The Watch. And Madam Web. It's not doing so well.
It's doing awfully, Shad. I don't think saying not doing well, it gives it enough justice.
That makes sense.
It's worse than Morbius. Morbius!
Because we've actually watched Madam Web. Didn't we, Tyron?
Yep.
Yeah, how did that make you feel?
I didn't know we were doing a Madam Web video. They've just sprung this on me, and now I'm stuck here.
Sneak attack.
There's only one exit, and it's that way.
We have a full review, and Madam Web, take away, it was bad. If you want to find out how bad, you can check out our review, already out. This is more looking at the beginning of the aftermath. Well, I wouldn't say we're in aftermath territory yet. It's still only just released, but already, wow.
It's good to know we're not alone on this criticism. Sometimes people try to protect certain movies for ideologies for whatever reason.
Or they're trying to protect certain companies.
Yeah, but this time everyone's like, nah, this sucks.
Do you think it's because it's not Disney that they're willing to be a bit more honest with it?
No, I don't think so.
Because, we know that a lot of mainstream reviewers and everything, they want the access. They have admitted, there's clips of them admitting that sometimes they'll softball an interview because you've got to maintain your access and stuff, right? It's the whole criticism of the paid shill stuff. And, again, it seems like Disney does a lot of that. Is it because...
I reckon it's because there's actually nothing good to say about this film. Usually, even when a film's bad, there's something you can
defend it somehow.
There's some sort of vector where it's like, okay, this is kind of okay. Maybe I like this character, this or that. This film is just like, nah, it's just bad. There's not really anything to defend.
She-Hulk. Echo.
Daredevil's in it. In both of them, actually.
They ruined it
But you see what I mean? There's at least one thing that comes to mind where I go, but I'm not saying that is they're good. I'm just saying that's what comes to mind when I think of that. I'm like, okay, well, Daredevil's in it. That's something good. When Madam Web comes to, I go,
The Marvels.
Nathan actually spoke about this yesterday.
Nick Fury is in it.
Yep.
Some of the dad characters are funny. Some of the guys. There's not much in that movie, but people got on board for that to defend it to the death because the last one did so well with the box office. It doesn't make sense why the next one would. With this one, I feel like even when it was marketed, everyone was kind of like, "What is this film? What is this movie?" I don't know what it is, and we still kind of don't really know.
I mean, what's the Miss Marvel? The Miss Marvel actress.
Yeah, she's nice. She's friendly.
Yeah,
so, I like her.
See, I mean, something comes to mind.
Yes.
But when you say Madam Web, I go,
okay,
nothing.
Crickets.
Oddly enough, I think again, this isn't redeeming the film. We're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. It seems like the main actress, she knows that she's in a terrible film, and she's just subtly memeing on it.
Yes, but that's outside of the film.
I know. Okay. What in the film? At least the female, characters, actresses are pretty. That's one thing, isn't it? Like, it's not Abby from The Last of Us or something like that.
It's funny because I did see on Twitter that people were saying, I'm going to see this movie because a certain actress that I like is in it. Like, that is the only reason. But it's funny because they do pictures in their outfits, and I'm like...
those red carpet outfits is like...
On top of the superhero outfits.
I
want to see her in a spider costume. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not going to see very much of that.
It's know, right? That's the bait and switch. That's actually really dirty of them. Where it's like, hey, they try and tease, some teenage guys with a pretty girl in a superhero outfit, and it's not in the film. In reality, they're visions of the future.
But you're right too with the red carpet thing. It was like there was nothing to sell except for themselves.
Yes. You know what we're talking about?
No, I don't know.
You haven't. We need to show you these.
That wasn't an invitation for you to show.
I want you to. So
you let us inbrain an image into your head that
I don't want it.
Really?
I do not consent to this. Right. Okay.
So they're wearing very revealing or pretending to reveal.
Okay. Yeah,
a lot.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Oh, you are fine with that.
Well, I mean, if you sit here and complain all day that we don't have hot women and things anymore, We've got to be consistent here.
Yeah, that's right. And so that is what. But the thing is, though, I was kind of saying that's one thing that might attract some guys to watch it, but then it's the bait and switch. They don't get in their superhero outfits or anything like that.
They're just in normal people clothes the entire time.
Yeah. Though some people have been saying if they dressed like this in the film, it would have done a lot better. What do you think about that, Tarth?
Well, I mean, isn't that the 50 Shades of...
Yeah, I was going to say that's,
Yeah, so I mean, whatever, I don't care. Yeah.
So, did you hear that she fired her agent after getting cast for this film?
I did hear that, yes.
Really?
There's rumors. You haven't heard about that,
No,
Nathan?
there's other article stuff I saw, but I didn't know that she fired her agent after this.
The rumors is that she thought she was getting cast in a Marvel superhero film.
Like an MCU.
MCU. But it's not. It's Sony. It's a spin-off Sony.
It's just funny when actors do stuff like this, because I feel like that's the first thing I'd always check, of like, who's directing this, who's in charge. And when you see the producers aren't Kevin Feige and Disney, you'd kind of think, this isn't a MCU thing. But like, actors,
these famous actors, they probably think my agent, of course, would always...
I trust my agent.
I trust my agent. Then
that was your first mistake.
Then if it's the agent or agency or something like that, it's like, she's not with them anymore. It's just interesting.
I wonder as well with this film, because they obviously at the end allude to more movies coming out, whether they are contractually obliged to do more movies of Madam Web.
I don't think so.
Oh, they were like... Sony would be so dumb to make more of this stuff. Having said that, Disney keeps proving me wrong.
I'm pretty sure the box office projections for this are like...
cratering.
Yeah.
Like it was apocalyptic in the projection, and it looks like it's going to be worse.
Yeah.
Like people have been sharing the cinemas. How many people are like how many seats are available in the cinemas, and they're like dead empty. In the cinema we went to,
I think we had more people than anyone else.
Yeah, I know. Opening day though, but we're talking about what, 10?
Less than that, right? Because there's three of us, so like what, 2, 3 people in the back, one guy to the side.
Yeah.
Like it was very. And it's because there's nothing else on at the cinema as well.
Also, our cinema that we go to offers incentives for people to go on weekdays who outreach programs type stuff. So there's usually people for those reasons more than like actually paying.
I want to go see an MCU superhero movie.
You would still think on opening day. We were there opening day.
Yeah.
Okay. That's when everyone said. I remember when I went to see Dark Knight. Okay. Cinema was packed.
Yeah.
Packed.
I haven't been to a packed cinema in a very long time.
Me too.
Because all I've watched is the Marvel stuff. Like the Marvels was the same.
Mario had a few people in it. I'm pretty sure Mario
had lots of the kids and stuff.
Actually, yeah, I think Mario. I think Top Gun Maverick had a sizable group of people there.
It's just funny how you can tell by going to the movies
Isn't
whether or not
it
people like it.
interesting? Yeah. Did you? What's kind of odd about it? Maybe I'm getting a bit conspiratorial, but we saw the same phenomena with Captain Marvel. Yeah. Like people went to the cinemas, no one's here. But then they were like, the cinema's sold out, yet when they go there, no one's there.
Well, what score does it have now on Rotten Tomatoes?
Okay, so... Okay.
Because it's been fluctuating between 17 to 22% for the critics score.
Let's have a look. 16.
Now it's 16. All right, it's gone down.
Audience score is 68.
Oh, whoa. Hold on. Verified as soon as you go to...
48. Even that's surprising to me, though. The thing is that I put in very little stock with these review sites. They have been, shills from the beginning, and they freeze reviews to lock in, and they...
Well, it's also how they calculate them as well. If you give it like a 1, that doesn't count as much, but if you give it like a 2, then that gets factored. There's weird things like that they do. Yeah.
So that's why I do find it interesting that it seems like in this instance... the main critics are actually being somewhat honest about how bad this film is.
I watched a couple of reviews last night on YouTube for more mainstream content creators, and they're all negative. So, I haven't seen a single positive anything for this yet.
Is it a sign of the tides turning?
No.
I don't think so. I think a lot of them will still go to bat for Disney, the next Star Wars
I think it's still a win for us, though, knowing that, bad media people won't go watch.
Yeah.
People aren't just going to accept sludge all the time. There is a line to people's standards, thankfully.
Is it, though? Or is it just they made something so... obscure that nobody cares.
It seems like the tide is turning in the sense of the audience, not necessarily with the reviewers. I think like they will still, like, so many people are trying to do damage control for the Marvels and for Indiana Jones, but they did really bad at the box office. It seems like the goodwill that Disney and all the major studios, right, once had, where you hear a movie coming out of a property that you really like, oh, Superman vs. Batman, like, I'm there, right? Not even seeing the trailer or anything, not waiting for reviews. Now, that it seems like that goodwill is dead. Yeah. No one is like, oh, another superhero movie, even if it's like Batman or something, like, I'm going to wait until I hear if it's good or not. And it seems like movies are living or dying based on review and word of mouth. And that's why Oppenheimer does well, and certain movies get legs, like, you know, Top Gun Maverick. I think Barbie's more of an anomaly in that kind
I was
of
waiting for that.
Really? I haven't watched the Barbie film. I don't care.
Yeah.
Nathan watched it. What did you think of it, Nathan?
It wasn't as bad as Shad made it out to be.
Oh,
That's my opinion.
interesting. Okay, so okay, all right then.
But then I guess there are enjoyable things in the Barbie that people can find. I'm willing to say, I don't know, like, to me, Barbie is a type of so bad that they weren't aware of what they were doing, that they crossed the line into self-parody, and that's why people are able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That, to me, doesn't redeem it in any way. I think that's actually them going further than we've ever seen anyone push the propaganda before.
Okay.
But it is a mask off, and, you know... Look, you're not the only one that likes it.
I didn't say I liked it. Why does it so... I just said it wasn't as bad.
Oh,
I wouldn't watch it again. But I also watch it and go... Okay, cool. Ken's a funny guy. But the funny thing I found as well when doing some research for Madam Web, apparently there was another script before they shot.
Really?
That was even worse than what they filmed.
I don't know if I can believe them now. Like, I guess they're so bad at writing, I could honestly believe that the one that they changed from might have been really good. But they were like, too many problems. Like, oh, look, the man is saving the women. We got to change that or something like that.
I don't know. But yeah, she basically was saying that the original script, you know, they did changes. And it was also funny because I think most of the actresses, this is their first time doing any like superheroes, so like special effects, green screen. And so they weren't used to being like told, there's an explosion behind you. You've got to act like there's an explosion. Like they're not used to that actual method acting, is that what we would call it? Or like, you know, pretending, actually acting. So they didn't know whether or not it was going to be good or bad coming out of filming.
Well, keep in mind the main villain's lines didn't match up with his lips. So
It was also, yeah.
it makes sense.
It was all ADR.
Yeah.
What? Really? Oh, wow.
Everyone was
Did
like...
you not see it, Shad? He would go, and then like 5 lines would come out.
Like, I missed it. I was like, it was hard to pay attention to that film.
There was a lot of distractions in that film as well, though. So, like, it's fine if you missed it. But yeah, that's just... The more we delve into this topic, the worse I feel like things tend to get. And its quality and...
Yeah. So I also heard that there was an original version of this, and this could have been what the changes were, that there were more references of Spider-Man in it, that there might have actually been an appearance of Spider-Man, but they had to reshoot or recut and take everything out because the continuity didn't line up at all. They set this film 20 or 19 years before
any Spider-Man stuff.
Well, current day. And so when did Spider-Man first appear in the MCU? It was like, what, 2015?
Well, which one? There's 3.
MCU Spider-Man, because I
that was like, yeah, that was
but
2020s.
It actually doesn't match up to any timeline. I think that you could say this is all before the MCU Spider-Man, but that means if Spider-Man appears, it's not going to fit, so they had to cut him out. Interestingly enough, it's like a year before or after Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Yes, but also I feel like, because is this the same universe as Venom's Spider-Man? Because apparently that one is the same as Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, which came out in the 2010s. So it could be any one of those.
But I heard that they had they were playing in cameos of either it was Venom or Spider-Man or anything like that. And then they had to get rid of it all because...
For continuity, yeah.
Like the director, the writer, someone wasn't paying attention to the time periods and it just wasn't going to match up or fit. Great work. Great work. So this seems like a disaster from the very beginning, like all the way through. And it's certainly a disaster coming out. Like some of the review headlines, you know, Madam Web is not as bad as you heard. It's much, much worse. And like headlines like that are just going around. It would be nice if Hollywood, Sony, Disney could even learn a thing or two from this. It would be nice if any of them could learn a thing or two from this. That, hey, people like Spider-Man for a reason. They want a Spider-Man film. And it went back. I was asking this, like, why? And it seems like the answer is they wanted to milk the property more than like that was there, which seems weird because Venom I get. Mm-hmm. Madam Web. Who's wanting a Madam Web film?
I didn't know about her until the movie was announced, and I had to Google it because, I mean, none of my properties I watched growing up had Madam Web in it.
I don't know her whole kind of continuity. My exposure was from the classic Spider-Man cartoon. She appears there. And yeah, she's an old woman and her actual character is an old, paralyzed, blind woman. Yeah, people want a movie with Madam Web, right? It's just, and so when I look at this, it seems like the only reason why they'd want to do it is because the South Park line.
Is she gay?
She might be, but she is a chick.
We've never confirmed nor denied that, so.
Oh, okay.
But it's the whole push, for diversity. And by the way, like most often, guys, they're all on board with like, hey, female action hero, let's do it. But this isn't done in the classic female action hero type. This isn't like, Fun Tomb Raider or anything like that. This is...
Well, some people I saw who are more progressive were upset at this movie because it feels like it's dating women heroes 20 years back when they actually want progression. This is making people not want to watch superhero women have like movies. So like, if you keep making these movies, they're going to stop making them. They're not going to have any, like, progression's going to stop, guys. Like, people are freaking out by this damage that this movie's caused.
They weren't complaining that this is taking our, progress back 20 years because they actually put pretty women in it instead. We need women that look
this
more...
is really bad movie. Why are you making this bad movie? Make us an Iron Man, but make her a woman. Please.
Because this is... It does really feel like, even though it's not, Marvel, it does feel like the whole MCU, switcheroo type stuff where they want the characters to look, more the way that they want. And back in the day, they would just make a character not for an agenda. It's like, hey, we'll make a female version of Spider-Man and it'll be fun, right? Where this, it's like they're going out of the way to replace the character. Where back in the day, they went hand in hand, they supported one another, all good and everything. And I do find it really interesting that it seems like they went out of their way to make the villain's outfit look like Spider-Man. Well, they didn't need to do that. Why do they want the villain to look like Spider-Man?
So they could trick you in marketing?
They don't like these classic heroes. And they want to do the whole switcheroo type of thing. But anyway, that's my impression. And it's not to say that all female-led action, movies are based on a gender. They're not. Alita Battle Angel, I still love. I think it's a great film. Well, it has issues. I really enjoy it, I should say. It's done so poorly because if they actually had, some cool female characters in their cool superhero outfits doing cool superhero things, this film probably be somewhat enjoyable, even if it had bad writing. But by that, with good writing, you could have had a good film. I'm not saying it was impossible, but the film is just bafflingly bad on so many levels. And then they do the bait and switch where this isn't really a superhero film. And it's how would you define it? Like a travel log of teenage girls fighting?
A train wreck.
Train wreck? How would you define this film, Darren?
A chick flick without any of the fun parts of it.
Yeah, I think you're pretty close there because
it felt like it was made for a more woman audience, but it just wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah, it didn't have any type of things that I think a women audience would really enjoy, that they either could relate to or find validation. Like chick flicks usually have a love interest.
Mm.
No, so none of
or
that.
at least just a bit more lighthearted and fun.
Yeah, that there's friendships that are growing and they're getting along and they're supporting and affirming one another and stuff like that. So these are classic tropes in a lot of chick flicks.
There's usually some
none
juicy drama or love triangle or something. Nothing here.
Yeah.
It was it was like a woman's nightmare, being chased by a scary guy.
Basically, it was guy is like, they're suffering by the violence of an aggressive man, and they need to find out a way to defeat them themselves. Not to get help. I mean, they could have gotten help. There was a lot of help available. They could have gone to the police multiple times, but because of deportation, I'm an illegal immigrant or something like that. We can't go to the police. My life is in danger. They could probably save our lives, but no, not gonna get help. And
No more, please.
oh my gosh, this film is bad. And then it's a film of just these girls bickering the whole time. Who's going to enjoy it?
No one, apparently.
Looks like no one. And they're not going to be able to save this. This is just getting worse and worse. Like the critics are finally calling it out. And that's where we're at. I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens with it, the overall box office largely. What do you guys think? What do you think about the whole thing, do you think it might be a sign of tides turning? I'm not sure. I don't think it is, honestly. But finally, for once, it seems like people are calling out crap because, when they recognize it. Shockingly enough. If you make something bad enough, even the paid shills will acknowledge it. Stay on watch.